Welcome to Matters of Decorum. I'm Scott Corum. This is what matters to me. Happy holidays. I hope that you've had a happy holiday season, and I hope that your year ahead is full of growth, potential, and wonderful things. Because mine is. I can't complain too much right now. My son's smoking a brisket on the back porch. That's just right there. That kind of sums up my happiness of my existence. I got a smoked brisket growing on the back porch, got a house full of things that help my life day by day be easier and more comfortable. Got a dialysis clinic rolling distance down the street so I can get there independently. I'm doing pretty well. I had a request on a recent video to talk about my writing projects coming up. And with the new year coming up, I think it's a good subject to hit. What kind of stuff am I going to be writing as I enter 2025? Thank you for the question, Chris. We should talk sometime. I'm working on a novel. I'm casually working on a novel when I get the urge to do a little bit more with it by night. It's an Old West / fantasy novel. I'm trying to combine genres. It's an exercise in world building for me, actually. I would like to have a game world placed in this place, but I don't know enough about it to write a whole game world book on it. So I'm learning it by picking a spot and having events and letting the references of things that happen in the rest of the world just kind of trickle in. So I've got to answer questions and fill in blanks. It's past 30,000 words. It's longer than a novella. It's definitely going to be a novel. It's not the most focused writing I've ever done. It kind of rambles, and I kind of like it for that. It's a more a slice of life piece than anything else, and I will probably put it up on Amazon when I got it done. You'll see a link here, absolutely. Because why not? I'm putting in the time. I might as well put it out there. And like I said, I'd like to turn that into a game book. I don't know if that's going to happen over the course of the next year. I'd like it to. Knowing more about the world lets me build a setting in a more cohesive manner. I started off just wanting dwarves and elves in the same world as revolvers and Winchesters. And it's kind of working out. It's a world I like to write in. It's a world I like to run games in. So I think we're going to do that for a bit. The characters that I made up for the convention games in January kind of fit into that world. So that's going to be a little bit more world building for me with offloading it onto 6 other minds. Never a bad thing. Again, don't know if I'm going to get that done. I'm going to get that started next year. After I've done the novel. I'm not going to start the world book until I've finished the novel. Just because I want to have a clean shot at the novel. I'd like to get that finished. Not the only game book I've got in my head, of course. As for every year for the past 10 or so, I want to finish Mecha. I want to get the conceptual base strong enough that I can write the rest of the book around it. It's still all numbers and concepts and trying to make things work in Excel. And I can't tell right now if my systems are too complicated or I don't know Excel well enough. Because if I cannot make the mech construction rules work in Excel, I can't expect someone to take the book, sit down, and make a mech. That's not really what the book's going to end up being, but it's absolutely got to be a functional part of the book. So that's the thing. I've got to get past the hump. of the charts and the charts. I've got to make the charts and the math work. That's the big thing. And once I've got a grip on that, the rest of the book will flow pretty well. So writing itself in the back of my head, waiting for the plug to come out. The plug being the numbers in the charts. So that's a focus for this year. To get, if not the book done, at least the structural framework done, so that the rest of the book can happen. Another thing I'm going to do for the rest of the year, during this month, during December of 2024, I put out a short on YouTube every day. And there's a few days left, but I've already recorded the last of the shorts. They're already loaded, ready to go on their days. Just little adventure seeds, things to get a game started. I'm really enjoying doing this, and I think it's getting me out there. The algorithm is really favoring shorts at the moment. So I think I will probably tidy up the format. I've got a few days to do that, and do that throughout 2025. A year commitment is a lot more than a month commitment, but I did the month commitment with almost no prep time and a coming up with the format off the top of my head. I've got some strategizing that I can do to make it a little bit easier, where I'm not cranking these things out day by day by day, having to remember to do these things before I go to bed every night, but rather I'm doing 1 or 2 days of effort a month to get these things out and gone. Surprisingly doable and sounds like fun now that I'm thinking about it. So, yeah, that's the thing that's probably going to happen. Consider that a writing task. I do need to write stuff down more often than I do. I enjoy coming up with things off the top of my head. Extemporaneous speaking and improvisations, some of my favorite activities. So I'm doing this. But sometimes you need a script. Sometimes you need to sit down and work things out, especially if you're doing things like Adventure Seeds and you don't want to get repetitive. I'd like things to be fresh and continuously flow, as opposed to just me telling the same stories over and over again. I got a problem with that as it is. My memory is not what it used to be, so writing things down definitely going to help. Aside from that, there's a dozen concepts in my head at any given point in time, things I would like to write about. Science fiction, cyberpunk stuff, a lot of transhumanist material I would like to crank out on, even just thought pieces about current technology, where it can go, where it should go, how world events are shaping technology, and what things like commerce and warfare are going to look like in just a few short years. I've got some thoughts. I'd like to put them out there. I don't really have an outlet for just articles. I've got some websites that I need to build. That's another thing for this year, is I got to get my websites up and running. So maybe I'll just devote one to articles that I do every so often. Maybe wake up the old WordPress website. I still have it, so I might as well. Yeah, there's some stuff going on there that I can definitely pitch small projects at. Small projects, little independent pieces on things I'm thinking of. I spend a lot of time in my head, and it's about time I get some of that stuff out. Dialysis can work for me in that case, as opposed to work against me. Rather than taking energy out, giving me a little extra time to cogitate 3 days a week, where I've got not much else to do but sit down and think for 3.5 hours. It seems like that's a resource that I could actually tap, as opposed to worry about how it's draining me for the rest of the time. Make it work for me. I need to do all of this while I'm physically building myself back up. I need to get some muscle building going. I need to build up some weight, get some reserves going so that I can. I don't like the hollow cheeks. I'd like to look more like my old self to some degree. And I'd like to be more physically capable of doing things for filming. I got a sword. I'd like to show it off. I can't hold it for very long right now. I need to build that up. That'll probably get shown off about the same time as I'm doing the tour of the house. We'll get there. That's what my next year looks like, work-wise, I think. It's a little intensive. There's a lot of stuff there. But 365 days, 24 hours in each and every one of those days, and a whole house of resources to support me doing it. Yeah. I think some of it's doable. I'm not going to commit to anything at this point. I know New Year's resolutions. That's just a tool for giving me regret at the end of next year. And I've already got more of that I want to deal with. No, just a list of things. A good video for me to look back at the end of next year or maybe halfway through. See how I'm doing. To have a look at these goals and compare them to what the goals have changed to be by the middle of the year. And what I actually managed to accomplish by the end of it. Well, thank you very much for following me along in this particular ramble. I appreciate having you folks here. I appreciate that you have followed me along and that you are still interested in what's going on. Adventures yet to come. I'm going to try and travel this year. Just a little bit. See what I can do. Got to get the moving done first, but then something. I'll let you know. I'm Scott Corum. This is what has mattered to me. I'll see you next time in the next Matters of Decorum. And now over to Uncle Drac for the outro.
If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy this video, give it a thumbs down. Feedback is feedback. If there's any other topics you would like to hear Scott talk about, questions you'd like him to answer, subjects you'd like him to cover, please leave a comment down below. He will love getting your comment and you will love leaving him one. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, why not? This channel is awesome. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you do, you might also want to hit the little notification bell so you're alerted when these videos become available. If you would like to support this channel in a more substantial manner, we invite you to hit us up at the Patreon page, www.patreon.com/ScottCorum, and consider donating. Absolutely anything helps and allows us to create better content more often. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.